ability to carry your running game, but that's the case with Robert Smith. He's been banged up, sprained ankle, bruised ribs, a slight concussion last week, but the coaches have the utmost confidence in his ability to run inside and out, and he doesn't lack confidence in himself. As a matter of fact, it was reported to me that in the Iowa locker room, there was a quote that Robert Smith made that was printed, and he says he is a better running back than Marshall Faulk. He'll have a chance to start proving it this afternoon. On the other side of the ball for Iowa, Matt Ide, number 14, is going to get the start at quarterback, only his second start of his entire career. This young man has great mobility. He can throw the football a good length down the field. He has excellent touch. And the most critical aspect of his game will be the decision-making process. The decisions he makes from behind center will tell the story as to whether or not Iowa is going to have a chance to win this ballgame.
And the one other thing that the University of Iowa needs to do, and that's do a better job against the rush than they have done defensively so far this year. So stay with us. ABC's coverage of college football will continue from Iowa City. A Big Ten matchup today with bowl implications. The Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. And it is Halloween. Remember, the history of this game is some strange things can happen on All Hallows Eve.
ABC's College Football. Brought to you by Chevy Trucks. The trucks you can depend on. The trucks that last. On the 25th anniversary diamond. A brilliant celebration of the loving marriage. By Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Buckeyes hold a big lead in the series record the last meeting last year. Of course, Iowa beat Ohio State 16-9, and over the last 5 years, it's been pretty even, 2-2-1 between these two schools. John Cooper, the head coach of Ohio State in his 5th year, and of course Hayden Fry in his 14th. There's John. And he's been on the endangered species list at Ohio State.
John says he's not concerned about it. He never thinks about it. He says he believes, and I talked to him yesterday, that he'll be back here next year. And so he doesn't waste any of his time talking to the players about it or worrying about it.
Ohio State won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half, and so Iowa will get the football. Number 1, Willie Guy has dropped back deep for the Hawkeyes, along with number 83, Harold Jasper, the guy that they would like to get the ball to. Jasper to the left of your screen, as he and Guy are inside the 5. And Tim Williams, a junior out of Waynesville, Ohio, at 5'9" and 180, will do the kicking off for Ohio State. It is Parents' Day here at Iowa. A full house on hand. And Williams hits it over into the far corner, and Jasper has it at the 23. Knocked down by 84 Craig Powell, one of the Buckeye linebackers. And here's Matt Ide. He is a junior, but this is only his second start in college. Of course, Jim Hartlieb had been playing quarterback. And Hartlieb out with an injury, and there was some talk that he may be available, but I think more than likely it would be next week rather than this week. So Matt Ide getting his second start. He's 6'4" and 210, and he did transfer from Michigan State. He is out of East Lansing, Michigan. Marvin Lampkin, 33, and Lou Montgomery, 34 of the backs. Lampkin on first down. Nowhere to run, as he is covered immediately by Steve Tovar, the Buckeyes' #1 leading tackler and the middle linebacker. The diehard starting lineups for the Iowa offense with Lampkin and Montgomery in the backfield. Dane and Hughes, their big play guy, along with Jasper at wide receiver. And the tight end, who will be standing up a lot, a la Hayden Fry, is Cross. Davis, Belser, Devlin, a good center. Peroni and Reese, who was injured but is back. The big front 5. Second down 10. Ide's first pass attempt. Plenty of time. Tipped at the last minute. Tipped by Roger Harper, the strong safety, number 24, or Alan Cross, the tight end. Might have been all the way. The diehard starting lineups for the Iowa State defense with Foster, Wilkinson, who was shaken up badly last week, but is back. Smith and Simmons, the front down 4. Williams, Tovar, and Powell, the linebackers. Cook, Kerner, Harper, and Nelson. The secondary for the Buckeyes. Their defense has been very good. 3rd down 10. Again, good protection for Ide, who now runs out of the pocket. Still looking. And he's got Montgomery over here. Montgomery can't make the catch at the 35, and a penalty flag goes down. Montgomery was open forever, Lynn.
And there were a couple of receivers downfield open, but Matt Ide just didn't eye them, didn't see them downfield. But you had a good chance to see what I talked about earlier, his mobility as he scrambled around in that backfield and gave himself the time to to find an open receiver. We'll see what the penalty is.
An ineligible receiver downfield. Jerry Hendrickson, the referee, signaling. And when guys run around that long behind the line of scrimmage, usually somebody gets in front of the line of scrimmage.
Of course, and Matt Ide put the ball downfield. Montgomery had a chance for it, but the ball was very, very low.
Well, a loss of down will bring up a punting situation. And Scott Fisher comes on to do the punting. A senior takes the high snap, and he booms it out of there, sending Walter Taylor way back, and Bobby Diaco, who is the kamikaze on kick coverage, down there in one big hurry. A 50-yard punt.
It was a high snap, and he just kicked it very quickly. It was a line drive, driving him all the way back. And in most cases, you get a line drive, you outkick the coverage. Nobody gets there in time. But Bobby Diaco has been a man who has been absolutely marvelous for the Hawkeyes on special teams. Was down there in a hurry. It makes a great tackle.
So Ohio State has it 1st and 10 at their own 31. No score in the first quarter. Finds Stabline going in motion. Herbstreit gives it to the fullback, Jeff Cochran. And Cochran had immediate lead by Tyrone Boudreaux, number 37. And Iowa fired up.
Boudreaux in there at linebacker did a terrific job of just shooting the gap there, making the stop.
Kirk Herbstreit, the quarterback, a senior out of Centerville, Ohio, 6'2" and 210. You see his career numbers. He's in a 61% passer this year. 2nd down 10. Fake to Robert Smith. Herbstreit's first pass complete to Cochran, but he's hit immediately by Carlos James. Here's the diehard starting lineup for Ohio State. Robert Smith getting the start at tailback, Cochran the fullback. DeGraff and Reed and Stabline the wide receivers, and Cedric Saunders the tight end. Up front, it's Winrow back in the starting role. Hartman a good one. Long, Mono, and Springer. Springer a 300-pound freshman.
And a very talented young man with great maturity.
It is a gain of 3, so it's 3rd and 7. The ball at the Ohio State 34. From the shotgun. Herbstreit over the middle, complete to Stabline, who has the first down. Stabline to the OSU 49 in the grasp of number 6, Scott Plate.
Well, that time, Ohio State is taking advantage of deep zone coverage. They get Stabline running an out pattern underneath the receiver on the far side. That receiver on the way out on the outside drives his man up the field, creating the open gap.
Those are the big guys along the front line for the Iowa defense. Blue, Nelson, Crane, and Wells. 1st and 10. Ohio State just shy of midfield. Robert Smith's first carry bounces outside. 1st down. And Jason Olensack bumps him out of bounds, but it's a first down deep in Iowa territory. Olensack, the strong safety, the last guy that could get Robert Smith.
I will tell you that the Iowa defensive players are none too happy about the comments made by Robert James. I'm talking about his ability, and by Kirk Herbstreit, when after the game, their win against Michigan State last week, Herbstreit said that they were going to march into Iowa and just win that football game as if it would be no contest.
Little bulletin board fodder for
Yes.
the Iowa locker room. A 25-yard gain for Robert Smith, and a first down, Ohio State at the Iowa 25. Cothran for a couple, down to about the 23. Let's go to John Saunders for an update.
Steve, Michigan and Purdue with a thriller down to the end. Eric Hunter with a last-ditch attempt. This is after he was sacked for a big loss. Tosses it up for grabs. Pat Maloney on the ricochet picks it off, and Michigan holds on for a 24-17 win. Steve.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you what, Michigan got a scare for one of the few times this season as they trailed at halftime. Purdue gave them quite a game. Second down and about 8 yards to go. And it's complete to Sanders. Chris Sanders close to a first down as he's driven out of bounds at the 15. Carlos James on the stop. The linebackers for the Hawkeyes, Daley Hartley, brother of the quarterback, and Matt Hilliard. And the secondary, James Plate, Olensack, who happens to be their leading tackler, and Doug Book.
You would prefer not to have any of your safeties be the leading tacklers in your team, and for the Iowa defensive unit, the top 5 tacklers, 2 of them are in the secondary.
That's right. On first down, Robert Smith banging for a few down near the 12 before he's cut down. Somebody lost a shoe. Mike Wells and Hartley on the stop.
And talking about Robert Smith, coaching staff, as I said early on, are very confident and very high in his talent and ability. They believe that of all the backs you have in the backfield, Harris and Benote, he's got the ability to take a short run and possibly make it into the home run, the big play. So that's why he's in there.
And he already has a 25-yarder. There's Hayden Fry, who is in his 31st year as a college head football coach. Butler Benote, number 33, averaging 5 yards a pop in at tailback. But it's a play-action fake, and Herbstreit's looking for somebody. Now he's going to run. Skips out of bounds at the 6. About a yard short of the first down. Chased by 93 Jeff Nelson. And finally, picking up a few.
I'll tell you, this was a great play by the defensive unit of Iowa. Number 5, Carlos James, is kind of under pressure because he's got a receiver coming into his territory. Now, he thinks about coming up when Herbstreit begins to run, but the number 37, Tyrone Boudreaux, comes across. So he saw he had someone making a play, forcing the quarterback out. He stayed with the receiver. That play in tandem prevented a touchdown.
Iowa's defense, however, will need to play together here. It is third down and 1. Herbstreit gives on the inside handoff, and it's going to be very close. I think Cothran got it as he needed to get near the 4. It will depend on where they spot the ball. Nope, they're going to mark it right on the 5. So Cothran's going to be short.
And the guy spotting that ball must be an old-time accountant.
When in doubt, err on the side of conservatism.
I mean, account for every penny.
Well, it's going to bring up 4th and 1.
They're asking for a measurement, I believe.
Yep. Herbstreit asking referee Jerry Hendrickson to measure. He wants to know exactly how much he needs to get. And he has the right to ask.
Absolutely. It's a smart move just in case that marker's a little bit off. Gives his offense offense unit a chance to just regroup just a bit. Let the coaching staff think about what play they really want to put in there and execute it.
It looks like they have about 18 inches to go.
If they decide to go for it.
John Cooper's won 32 games and lost 20 at Ohio State, but that's not good enough for a team that had so many great years of Rose Bowl under Woody Hayes. on 4th down and about 1.5 feet. Cochran again has the first down as he gets to the 3. It'll be 1st and goal, Buckeyes.
Unfortunate for the Hawkeyes on that play. The defensive unit started to charge a little bit too soon, and one of the players was trying to get off on the snap, slipped and couldn't get back in time. Couldn't get on his feet in time. I walked out into the field. It was real soft, Steve. Really? They haven't had a lot of rain here, but the field is extraordinarily soft. So if you see someone trying to cut on the dive and their feet slipping away from them, you'll know why.
Well, it has been dry. It's cold and windy. But there hasn't been any moisture of late. Pitch back to Robert Smith. Touchdown. Robert Smith with that long stride. He's a track man, and he took that one in almost untouched. And Ohio State jumps out in front.
Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes offensive line gets a jump on this play. You look at them driving the black jerseys back, opens up a slender hole for a slender halfback.
Robert Smith, 6'2", 195. He's a sophomore out of Euclid, Ohio. And now Tim Williams will come on to attempt the extra point. Williams has been perfect, making 18 in 18 attempts this year and make it 19. 9 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Ohio State on their initial possession drives to take a 7-0 lead. Robert Smith scoring on a 3-yard run. Play 69-yard drive, and on the play, Robert Smith carried 4 times for 31 yards, including the 3-yard touchdown run. And Ohio State out to a 7-0 lead. Again, it's Willie Guy, number 1, and number 83, Harold Jasper, back. As was the case when the ball game started. Tim Williams will do the kicking off. Well, so far in their first possession, Ohio State did exactly what they wanted to do and what they said they were going to do.
Move the ball down the field, mixing the pass and run. Very controlled drive.
Rain has begun to fall as Jasper takes it at about the 9. Good hole. Just tripped up by Tim Walton, a defensive back. Let's go to John Saunders again for an update.
Steve Stanford in Washington, and the Cardinals strike first. Steve Stenstrom looks for Justin Armour, who finds his way into the open and then into the end zone. Wide open. Stanford, the Cardinal, up 7-0 in the first quarter. Steve.
Thank you, John. Well, Stanford, the Cardinals are going to give the Huskies all they want today, I think. 30-yard kickoff returned by Jasper, and Iowa has good field position at their own 38. Mad-eyed play action with protection. Incomplete, intended for Marvin Lampkin out of the backfield, and the pass one-hopped him there.
Steve Tovar was right over there, number 58, the middle linebacker. Excellent coverage on the play.
And as always, we'll be bringing you up to date all afternoon on scores both in progress and games that are completed. A&M supposed to win big, and there's that big world's largest outdoor cocktail party, the Florida-Georgia game going on out in Jacksonville.
They take a little time off the golf courses to watch that one. That's right.
2nd down 10. Montgomery and Lampkin in the backfield in the I formation. Play action again. Hyde has time, but nobody open, and now he falls down. Losing ground back to the 28.
Well, credit Jason Simmons, number 91, for coming in. But while they're regrouping for the next play, take a look at the checklist for Iowa. They want to be efficient because they believe that Ohio State will limit them to about 10 possessions, so they want to use them as much as possible. But the most important thing for the Iowa checklist is the last one. For the defense, get off the blocks and improve their tackling. They get held up a lot when they're on defense trying to rush in, taking on the blockers, and they're not shedding those blockers and making the tackle. So that's something they have to improve on today.
Well, they had a 69-yard drive against them on Ohio State's first possession. Loss of 10 as Hyde went down. So it's 20 to go on 3rd down. Screen pass to Montgomery. And Montgomery up to the 34, and that is all. Marlon Kerner up from the secondary, number 46, to make the stop on the fullback. And Iowa will have to punt it away.
And Iowa's scrambling onto the field. They've got their punt team on there in a hurry. Their offensive unit better hurry off the field.
Walter Taylor, number 2, dropping back. And a punch kick by Scott Fisher, a line drive that Taylor's going to let roll. Inside the 25, it'll be down to the 24. 7:37 remaining in the first quarter. The Buckeyes leading the Hawkeyes 7-0.
When we set out to design the new Geo Prism, the possibilities were endless. Then, step by step, we built a car that's as well thought out as it is well engineered. Once you see the end result, we think you'll agree. It all came together beautifully. Get to know the newest Geo Prism, at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Today, for the first time in half a century, America is not at war. And America's wartime economy is changing to a peacetime economy. But that change has brought fear and uncertainty. The fear of losing a job, of losing a home. The uncertainty of tougher economic competition from around the world. But with change comes opportunity. And my agenda for American renewal can be the bridge to the future. It provides a choice of quality schools so our children have the knowledge to compete. It provides job training so workers have the new skills to compete. It provides health care for all and controls spiraling costs so our people can afford to compete. And my agenda strengthens small businesses that create 2 of every 3 jobs so we have the new jobs to compete. Today, we stand at the threshold of a new era. We change the world around us. Together, we must do the same at home.
The last time that Ohio State visited Iowa 2 years ago, the 1990 game came down to the last play with 7 seconds left. And down 26-21, Greg Fry to Bobby Olive to give the Buckeyes the victory 27-26. Now Ohio State leads it 7-0, and they have a 1st and 10 in a cold rain at their own 24. Herb Street to Robert Smith. And Robert Smith, not much running room, but a penalty flag goes into the pile as he's dragged down at the 25 by Matt Hilliard, number 48. And let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local ABC stations to identify themselves.
Right here on the line. Baseman, 5 yard, defense, 1st down.
So the lesser of the 2 penalties, the 5-yard variety, will move the ball out to the 30. It'll be 1st and 5. Ohio State's on the move for the 2nd time. Their first possession, a 69-yard drive, resulting in their 7-0 lead. Herb Street, 3 of 3 passing so far. Robert Smith breaking a tackle, has a 1st down, and out across the 40 to the 43. Dropped by Doug Book, the free safety.
That time, Paul Long, the center, Dave Mono, number 77, the right guard, did a great job of opening up a hole that Smith could just glide through.
There's big Mr. Mono.
Mono started the season off with about 275, Long 282, and Stringer, as you document, over 300 pounds. Who knows where the weight is now, up or down from that number, depending on how much work they've been doing each week.
Gain of 12. The ball at the Ohio State 42. Herb Street on a bootleg. Hartlieb slips. And it's complete to Chris Sanders at the Iowa 40. Hit immediately by Doug Book. But a big play for Ohio State as Herb Street did a great job of getting away and then finding an open receiver.
Terrific look from the end zone. To watch 42 from the right. That's Hartlieb. He has a chance, but Herb Street makes a miss. Now he's scrambling, good mobility. He's going to find Sanders downfield. And when Book makes his stop, He is the only man between Sanders and the end zone.
That was an 18-yard gain. The ball right at the Iowa 40, 1st and 10.
Give credit to Herb Street's happy feet.
Yep. And that rain is making the field even more slippery now. Robert Smith breaks one tackle, but not Hilliard. Matt Hilliard, number 48, driving Robert Smith back. Hilliard, a 230-pound junior from Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Perfect example of what I'm talking about in terms of Iowa defense making better tackles. Number 64, Mike Wells, who is a terrific player for him, comes in this game with 52 tackles and 3 sacks. All right, he has a chance to make the stop. You see 64 on the watch him. He gets off the block. He should make that tackle. Instead, he misses. That should be a tackle for a loss right there. He misses his opportunity, and Matt Hilliard, fortunately, was coming up on the play.
No gain on the play, so it's 2nd down, 10. And it's complete. Alan DeGraffenreid. DeGraffenreid doing a good job after he catches the ball, getting it down near the 26.
And DeGraffenreid getting his first start last week. Coming in and starting the game for Sanders. DeGraffenreid, senior, good steady player, excellent hand. Here he makes a good catch on the inside. And his balance is the best thing after he makes a catch. Looks like a matador shedding a block.
Lost his towel there. But he picked up 12 yards and a 1st down. Ball now at the Iowa 27. And Ohio State driving once again. The blitz is picked up, and Robert Smith has a big hole. Across the 20. In the grasp of Scott Plate, number 6. Monday night here on ABC, NFL Monday Night Football, the Vikings and the Chicago Bears, a classic NFC Central matchup. Little black and blue action for you. That's at 9 Eastern. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football here on ABC.
Dennis Green going against Mike Ditka.
There's Hayden Fry. Trying to find a way for his defense to stop Ohio State, and contact made along the line of scrimmage.
Maria Crane, number 88, I believe, was a man that jumped early, made contact with the center, Paul Long.
Defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Maria Crane, the nose guard, a junior out of Waco, Texas. If you jump in there and then you don't make contact and you get back and get set, you're okay. But
unless you're working up against a smart center
who will snap the ball.
Who snap that ball while you're in the neutral zone.
That's right. But contact made there.
They should have a stat for 5-yard gains for center snapping the ball.
Yeah, it's just what we need, another stat. 1st and 10 inside the Iowa 15. Robert Smith again, cutting it back and getting down to the 11. The tackle made by Hilliard.
Stopped by Larry Blue.
But a gain of about 4 yards on 1st down. Hayden Fry has a great sense of humor, and this season here at Iowa has really tested that sense of humor. And chatting with him yesterday, he came out with some classic one-liners, but I think, Swanee, you could tell there's some strain telling. After the great season they had last year, the injuries and the youth have combined to really cause them a great deal of problems this season. 2nd down, 6. Robert Smith again. And a good play by Plate. Scott Plate coming up quickly from his cornerback position.
That's real heads-up play by the corner. You want a corner who can come up when he's playing that short zone, force the play. He gets away from Stabline, who's supposed to block him, sees it's a run all the way, and gets in for a good low tackle on Smith.
Smith did pick up 3, so it'll be 3rd and 3. The ball just outside the 7. John Cooper. In his 16th year as a head coach. Coached, of course, at Tulsa and Arizona State before Ohio State. The rain coming down even harder. Robert Smith running for the corner. Touchdown. Jeff Cochran, the fullback, throwing a great block, and Robert Smith dancing in for his second score of the game.
Robert Smith should give 3 of these points to number 8, Jeff Cochran. Now watch Cochran, who's at fullback. Watch him lead out on number 5. Now he has to clear the way. Number 5 comes up. That's Carlos James, and he just hits him, spins him around, and the rest of the field is clear.
Tim Williams on to attempt the extra point. And Ohio State scoring on their first 2 possessions. And Williams now 20 of 20 extra points this year, and with 2:26 remaining in the first quarter. The Buckeyes behind 66 yards rushing by Robert Smith and 2 touchdowns, lead at 14-0. Think about taking that helmet and going out on the field there. Looks like he could do some head knocking and never get hurt. Not too bad for the rain either.
Unless someone's got a little pin and lets the air out of his head. Helmet. Airhead?
No comment.
Air helmet.
Air helmet. Again, it's Jasper, the number 1 Willie Guy back, as Tim Williams, who's been busy. This will be his 3rd kickoff, and he's kicked 2 extra points. And we have about 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. A 76-yard drive following a 69-yard drive on Ohio State's first possession. Robert Smith scoring both touchdowns. The rain continues to fall as Jasper takes it from the 8. And a good play by 28 Jason Lewis, the backup safety, coming across to make the tackle on Harold Jasper. And a reminder that at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. And for the 22nd year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Matt Ide and company need to get a drive going. Ohio State has scored their first 2 possessions. Ryan Terry, number 32, is in at tailback. Lou Montgomery, the fullback, and Ide to throw on first down. Again, he has protection, but again, nobody open, and now he dumps it off to no one. Montgomery was over there in the vicinity. The ball actually landed closer to an offensive lineman, Bob Reese. But Big Daddy, Dan Wilkinson, number 72, had a hold of Ide's jersey.
And the official was pointing towards Montgomery the whole time. 72, Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson. I'm telling you, he is a man to be reckoned with. 299 they listed, maybe over 300.
Why do they do that?
But he's got a great vertical jump, excellent speed.
299. I think that's 300 pounds any way you look at it.
That's it.
Ide has completed just 1 of 5 passes. Ryan Terry picking his way and fumbling the football. Still loose.
And it's a big game for Iowa.
They fumbled it forward far enough to where Mike Ferroni, 55, fell on it. And it'll be a first down at midfield. A 26-yard fumble forward gain. Ferroni at 6'2" and 280 chasing it down.
And in case you were wondering about the speed of the offensive line, Ferroni showed you just how fast they are. Here's the play, and it's the story of Ryan Terry. He is always having problems holding on to the football. Everybody's trying to grab it. They just keep knocking it forward, and you would not expect the offensive lineman to be that far downfield making the play, but Ferroni is a hustler.
Well, it's Halloween. We ought to have some ghost yardage, right?
Yeah.
Play action on first down. Ide completing it to Montgomery. Montgomery down to the 26 of Ohio State. Roger Harper, the strong safety, made the stop.
There are 2 ways to attack the Ohio State defensive coverage, and they play a majority of 2 deep and 5 people underneath in the coverage. Sometimes that coverage underneath is man, sometimes it's zone. You can either go vertical, find the lanes, the alleys straight down the field, or you can find the crossing patterns underneath the different levels of coverage. So far, Iowa's been trying to attack it on a vertical basis.
That was a 24-yard gain on the completion to the fullback Montgomery. First and 10 at the Ohio State 26. Now Montgomery carries. Down to about the 22. Chico Nelson, the free safety, number 13, coming up to make the first hit. Gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Final minute of the first quarter. Montgomery averaging over 4 yards a pop this season. Now 3 wide receivers. There's a backup tight end, Matt Whitaker. And Dane and Hughes are split to the right, Jasper to the left. But it's a running play to Montgomery. And Lou, as you can hear the crowd call out, gets short yardage down near the 20. Chico Nelson again making the stop.
Well, they tried to come up with a running play. There was a quick hitting play, a bit of a counter, as Hyde was moving to his right with the back coming across to the left. But Ohio State was in a man-to-man coverage in terms of their secondary, which meant they had more people up on that offensive line to block the run.
3rd down and 4. Final seconds of the first quarter. We'll see if they... No, they're not going to get it off before the quarter ends. The end of the first quarter in Iowa City. Iowa driving, but Ohio State leading 14-0.
It takes strength to go climbing 7 days a week. That's why one compact pickup powers you with the biggest full-size V6 engine. Only Chevy S10.
Who is on the sidelines and trying to stay dry, along with 70,000 others. Here are the first quarter statistics.
And nothing out of the ordinary from watching this first quarter of action. Ohio State controlling the football, time on the clock, and tempo of the game.
3rd and about 5. Big play for Iowa on this drive. Penalty flag and whistles. Stop play upon the snap. So we'll see what Jerry Hendrickson and his crew come up with.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 3rd down.
Well, that's a killer when you got 3rd and 5 and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 10.
Well, 3rd and 5, you have a little bit of room to play with, although they consider 3rd and 5 a long situation where most teams are likely to pass. Now you really got to put the ball in the air and come up with a big play. 3rd and 10.
Ohio State leading 14-0. And we will again start the second quarter. Hyde with time. And a fine running catch by Jasper. Jasper inside the 15 and a 1st down. Let's go to New York and John Saunders.
Steve, Stanford and Washington, and this is a long, long 3-yard touchdown pass. Brunel is chased almost back to his 25. Spots Leif Johnson, who's then wide open in the end zone. 3 yards it covers, 7-7. Steve.
Thank you, John. Heck of a game. And let's look at the catch. A heck of a catch by Harold Jasper.
He's beating Tim Walton, man who was out the last couple of weeks with a concussion, back in playing the ball game this afternoon.
12-yard gain, 1st down. Ryan Carey out of the backfield for a short gain, if any. He was hit immediately by Craig Powell, number 84, who is the Ohio State version of Iowa's Bobby Diaco. He's the kamikaze guy for the Buckeyes.
He just loves to hit. He plays all out, uses his speed and quickness.
Gain of just 1. So it'll be 2nd and 9, Iowa. A big 3rd down and 10. They came up with the 12-yard reception to Jasper.
Ohio State not liking to play a lot of man coverage. They choose to play two deep zones a lot. Here, I don't think you're going to see them use that because they're backed up in their own end zone. So you see man coverage.
Montgomery with a quick hitter up the middle. Fumble. And Iowa gets it at the 1-yard line.
Jasper, number 83, man who came up with a big catch right around that football. So far, he's my MVP choice, I'll tell you. Full of Hawkeye. You see Montgomery carrying it upfield. He's a tough runner, but he loses it, and there's Jasper. And wisely, he just jumps on top of that ball and protects it. Doesn't try and play around with it, just use his hands to pick it up.
Well, some more ghost yards on Halloween, a gain of 11. It was Craig Powell who hit Montgomery and caused the fumble.
Harold may haunt this Ohio State Buckeye defense if he continues at this pace.
First and goal from the 1. Lampkin, touchdown.
Well, with the rain came a few miscues, and with those little mistakes came some big opportunities for Iowa. They take advantage of it, and Lampkin is the beneficiary of that short run for a touchdown.
Todd Romano will attempt the extra point. And it is good. Romano 4 of 4 now. An extra point attempt, but there is a penalty marker down on the field. It is, however, against Ohio State.
So I do believe that will be assessed on the kickoff.
Mike Devlin, the captain for the Hawkeyes, getting the option from Jerry Hendrickson. And I think you saw Hayes say kickoff.
Defense, the point count, you penalize on the kickoff.
So we have 13-17 remaining in the second quarter. Iowa on the board with a little help from some ghost yardage and a couple of fumble recoveries.
This Chevy Lumina is made of steel that's so rust resistant, it's covered by warranty virtually until the end of this century. So, no matter how life changes by then, your Lumina will still look beautiful. 6 years or 100,000 miles. That's our guarantee. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
The car. McDonald's top fuel funny car. 5,000 horsepower. 0 to 280 in 5 seconds. The driver. Cruz Petragon. World record holder. 5 straight wins. The fuel? Big Mac Extra Value Meal. Big Mac, large fries, medium Coke, just $2.99. When we say hot and fast, we're not just cooking in the kitchen.
Tony and Diane get regular insurance checkups, just like they get regular medical checkups. I'm State Farm Agent Carlos Bermudez. I have been their State Farm agent 7 years. A family insurance checkup helps them make sure all their coverages are up to date. It's also a good time to explore options, like how their life insurance plan can be adapted to help with their daughter's college education. I think the family insurance checkup is something everybody can feel good about.
State Farm is there.
The Vikings have beaten Chicago and hold the division lead, but the Bears are ready to fight back. They meet live on ABC's Monday Night Football.
A 75-yard drive for the Iowa Hawkeyes to get on the board. It's 14-7 Ohio State. Of the 75 yards, 37 were accomplished on those 2 fumbles forward that Iowa opportunistically was able to get. But they're back in the game. Robert Smith and Butler Benote back to receive the kick of Todd Romano. We were talking about how dry it had been here in this part of the country, and all of a sudden...
Yeah, I walked down to the field, and I saw it seemed to be very wet, and I asked him about the field. He said, well, we haven't had any rain, but just believes the field is very soft. And then here today, it begins to come down. Very lightly, however.
Bonote out of St. Louis, across the 20 to about the 23 or 4. And let's go down on the sidelines and introduce you to Mark Jones, who's with us today. Mark.
All right, guys, I'm joined by Tom Arnold, a former Iowa student. Things not going too well right now, Tom, but...
No. Well, they're better than they were. We just scored. That's a good thing.
Tell me about your new show coming up, the new project.
Yeah, well, it's called The Jackie Thomas Show, and it starts airing on ABC December 1st. It airs after the Roseanne Show, coincidentally. And I play the star of the show, a guy named Jackie Thomas, who's the star of a sitcom. He fires a lot of people, has a lot of trouble. I don't know where we got the idea.
Maybe a role for a sideline reporter, he tells me. Guys, back upstairs to you.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, did Tom play football here?
I don't know, but I like his lineup, but they don't know where they got the idea. Robert Smith with a big hole. Running to the short side of the field. He gets across the 30, up to about the 32, run out of bounds by Bobby Diaco.
I'd like to ask him how he got the time slot after Roseanne. The connection there, anything?
You know, you never know.
Never know.
There's a good look at Robert Smith. Smith, a sophomore at 6'2", 195, and has had a number of injuries, including an ankle, a concussion last week as he went into the bench.
He got him off to a good start with a 26-yard run, and seems to have gotten Ohio State on a fast track in this ball game.
He picked up 7, second down 3. Fullback Cothran cutting back. First down, breaks a tackle. And Doug Book goes for a ride, but finally brings him down.
If Doug Book were any lighter, he'd be a flag on the back of Cothran as he just chugged down that field. Cothran has got great speed for a fullback, 6'2", 235. Just a quick hitting play up the middle of the line. Credit that offensive line for blowing open the hole. But look at Cothran. He just puts his head down, takes on another guy. And watch Book. He's going 5, 10, 15 yards. He had contact with him before they brought him down.
Jason Olenczak, number 13, came over to finish him off. He'd already run over Scott Plate, who weighs almost 200 pounds.
Before this possession began for Ohio State, they had 2 previous possessions in which they scored. They were averaging 7.4 yards per play. The Hawkeye defense came into this game averaging, in terms of giving up to their offense, 6.1 yards per play. And any offensive coach will tell you, if you can gain 4 yards a play, they consider it a win.
And you're probably going to drive right down the field.
So, you know, the Hawkeye defense was up against it just coming into this ball game. They really need to gamble a little bit more to stop Ohio State.
Ohio State has not been stopped. They have scored on each possession. They're driving again with Robert Smith taking it inside the 25 in the grasp of Matt Hilliard.
Scores in the...
Well, that Purdue-Michigan game, a scare for the Wolverines.
That score is wrong.
Score is incorrect.
24-17.
Michigan did come back and win that game. They were trailing at halftime. They did come back and beat Purdue to remain unbeaten in the Big Ten and unbeaten overall, although they do have one tie. Robert Smith now has 78 yards, and we have 12 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Cothran again a big hole. First down as he bangs inside the 15. Again, Doug Book, who's getting well acquainted with Mr. Cothran, and Matt Hilliard, number 48, bring him down. He's a load.
I will tell you, number 67, Alan Klein, the right tackle for the Ohio State Buckeyes, did a great job of just blowing open the hole before Book ever had a chance to come up and make the play. And there's the correct score, that Michigan-Purdue football game. Purdue gave them all they could handle early on, holding the lead most of the game.
First down, Ohio State. Robert Smith, again a big hole. Inside the 5, diving down to the 2. And again, it was Doug Book over there to keep him out of the end zone. And William Houston, number 42 for Ohio State, made a fine block to help spring Robert Smith for a 12-yard gain.
You're up against it when the execution is sound across the board. Everybody did their job perfectly. Look at the lead block he gets here, right there. Smith reads it well, cuts inside, gets another block by stabilizing to the outside, takes advantage of it, goes up and over, and that's as much as you could have expected to get out of that play, and they got it.
And they also got a first and goal at about the 2.5. Cothran, straight ahead, touchdown. Jeff Cothran, who's had a big role in this drive, puts it in the end zone for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes have scored on drives each time they've had a possession so far in the game.
Ooh, and that's scary. That is scary when you're a defensive unit trying to find a way to halt this machine that seems to be well-oiled and finely tuned. The execution on each drive has been impeccable. It's been outstanding. Offensive line has just been driving the Hawkeyes off the line of scrimmage.
Tim Williams to attempt the extra point. Joel Kessel, the punter, will do the holding. And he hooks it inside the upright to remain perfect. 11.5 minutes remain in the second quarter. Ohio State appears unstoppable so far.
At BASF, we don't make the skates. We make them ride smoother. We don't make the shampoo. We make it gentler. We don't make the music. We make it clearer. We don't make the surfboard. We make it stronger. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
This isn't your typical car commercial. There's no beautiful scenery, no winding roads. Hey, there's not even a car. But there is news. Geo is lowering prices on the Metro Coupe, sedan, and the XFI. So now the car that gets the highest gas mileage in America is also the car with the lowest price, which is pretty beautiful, even without pictures. Get to know Geo Metro at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Our instructions had an error, and 1,000 orders were due Friday.
With the speed of a Xerox digital color copier, you'll get this order on the road again. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
We'd like color in our copies, but what small business can afford it?
With Xerox Highlight Color, concerns about the cost of color disappear with just a touch. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together. Welcome back to Iowa City. That headless holder is Joel Kessel on the extra point. Watch this. It's an orange thrown in the stands, but does that stop Tim Williams? No, there's the snap, the hold, and the kick, and it's good. If he had missed that, they would have had to have given him another opportunity to kick that extra point.
I'll tell you, that's great concentration by Kessel because that ball hit him right in the arm, or that orange, I should say.
I am telling you, not just the horses running in the Breeders' Cup that they have blinders.
So another 75-yard drive for Ohio State, and this one only took 1:43. Willie Guy out to about the 19, and he hits a stone wall there where Iowa will have an opportunity to get it going. Stopped by Alex Rodriguez, the backup linebacker at 6'1" and 230 out of Chicago. Let's go down to Mark Jones, who has another guest. Mark.
All right, guys, I'm with Jonathan Hayes of the Kansas City Chiefs, former Iowa football player, all-conference tight end. Jonathan, do you have a favorite memory of this series with Ohio State?
Not a good one, and maybe a bad one. We were up in Ohio State, tucked through a pick, and all I remember is getting blasted over a pile, and the kid jumped in for a touchdown. But that's the worst memory I had against Ohio State. But we've got after them. It's early in the game yet. They'll get it back. They'll be fine.
Jonathan, guys, thinking of slipping on a uniform. Back upstairs to you.
I'll tell you what, they could use him. They threw it out of the backfield to Marvin Lampkin, who picked up short yardage on first down. Brian Cook drove him out of bounds.
Let me tell you at this point what I think has happened with Matt Ide. He's getting the time he needs to move the ball down the field, but I don't think he's seeing and recognizing the coverages and then being able to pick out those receivers downfield. Because every time he's been back and he's been looking, even though he's been scrambling, he's had 2 and 3 receivers pop open for him. So his vision has to get better. His vision has to get better downfield on the pass play.
The other thing is that Iowa needs to move the football on the ground to help open it up a little more. That's intended for Lou Montgomery, the fullback, but thrown too tall and incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 6. Run down the top 20 for you. Miami will be taking on West Virginia tonight, and there's the Huskies coming back against the Cardinal after Stanford took a 7-0 lead. There's the Michigan-Purdue score as Purdue led by 10 at halftime. Iowa at their own 23. 3rd down. Hyde has time again over the middle, incomplete, intended for Damon Hughes. Roger Harper, the strong safety, was really the closest player to it. Number 24 for Ohio State.
Very interesting on that third and long situation. They chose to keep their tight end in and only work 2 receivers on one side of the field, giving him just half the field he had to look at to make a play, to make a decision.
Scott Fisher back around the 6-yard line.
And the man who came in, number 28, Jason Lewis, the man who came in and blocked, I shouldn't say blocked, he never got a chance to punt the ball, made the stop. One of the reasons I think they were in a hurry to punt the football in this particular game is because Ohio State comes in with a guy, number 9, Tito Paul, who has blocked 2 punts. But look at number 28 just come in there. They're all in great position to make the stop there. But it's Jason Lewis, redshirt freshman, who'll get the credit.
Lewis out of Lanham, Maryland, and was in there in one quick hurry.
Talk about field position. Inside the 10-yard line for Ohio State.
Well, they've driven 69, 75, and 75 yards twice. Now they're inside the 10, and Ohio State asked for a timeout. 11:07 left to go in the second quarter. Herb Street conferring with the coaches. John Cooper in the red cap there. And a reminder, next Saturday here on ABC, key conference matchups will make up our regional action. SEC, the Crimson Tide of Alabama takes on LSU. Many of you will see a Big Ten showdown. Others will catch an important Pac-10 or Southwest Conference game. And in the WAC, Marshall Falk, the Grand Marshal, leads San Diego State into Wyoming. Check for the game in your area on your local ABC station. And remember, the other game may be available pay-per-view. Check with your local cable operator.
Well, I'll tell you, as Ohio State is getting ready to take this 4th possession, we had a checklist for Ohio State coming into this game. And one of the things in it said, run well. I think they're doing that easily. Yeah.
They've been running better than the candidates.
Well, certainly they've opened up a wider gap between them and between their opponent. They didn't want to give up the big plays. They wanted to create turnovers, control the game, run well, and they wanted Herb Street to stay in the pocket and pass, and he's been able to do all of those things this afternoon.
Now they have a 1st and goal from the 9. Robert Smith, who's been packing the load, picking his way for a couple down to the 7 in the grasp of Brent Bielema and Jason Olenczak. Bielema, number 91, a 265-pound freshman. Or senior, I should say. There's big Brent. But look at the difference in the rushing yardage. Ohio State pounding on the ground, and Iowa unable to get anything going offensively on the ground themselves.
They've been running the ball so well, they'll probably stay on the ground, but it'll be a perfect opportunity to run a little play action right here.
2nd and goal from the 7. Herb Street appears to be changing the play. Dropping back quickly, and he's sacked back at the 15 by Tyrone Boudreaux. Boudreaux, a sophomore out of Houston, Texas.
Wasted no time coming from that linebacking position on the blitz. As I said, the Hawkeye defense has to gamble a little bit to try and make some things happen. They guessed right. The Ohio State would try and put the ball in the air. He shoots the gap straight up the middle. And Herb Street was down.
A loss of 7 on the play. Moves the ball back to the 14, where it is 3rd and goal. Cochran, nowhere to run. Matt Hilliard, 48, leading the charge for the Iowa defense.
Now that's tactical football. Tactical football where the Hawkeye defense, in a bad situation, made the right calls with the defense, gambled at the right time, came across the line, played aggressive football, and then Ohio State, again, tries to be tactical, so they're going up in the air. They try and hit them with the play on the ground and take advantage maybe of a hard pass rush, and they're stopped cold.
So Tim Williams will come on to attempt another field goal, or a field goal, I should say, from the 23, a 33-yard attempt. pushed it to the right, then it's no good. A heck of a series by Iowa, Swanee, as they turn him away when it was 1st and goal inside the 10.
It looked awfully dark for the Hawkeye defense with Ohio State possessing the ball on the 9-yard line. But a great stand by that defensive unit, some big plays.
There's been a lot of pressure today on the Iowa defense, and we asked head coach Aiden Fry what the Hawkeyes had to do defensively in order to win this game today.
Well, no question, we have to really upgrade our run defense. We normally are 1st or 2nd in the Big Ten traditionally against the rush. We haven't been able to stop anyone pregame warm-up this year.
Well, that's a little bit of an understatement on Hayden's part, but it's almost true. Greg Smith, the nose guard, number 57, came through very quickly to get Lampkin for a loss on 1st down of about 2 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 12. And the Buckeye defense, as you look at 57, the 250-pound senior, coming right back at Iowa.
I have to say congratulations to Greg Smith because he has been awarded the National Football Foundation Scholarship, which is a 2-year fellowship. He'll be presenting that award officially November 8th at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City.
And he's from the hometown of the Hall of Fame, Canton. Lots of time on 2nd down. Gets it out of the backfield to Cliff King, who's in at running back. But King sliding down, picked up maybe a yard is all. King, a junior out of Buffalo Grove, Illinois. The ball just short of the 20. So it'll be 3rd and 10.
Kind of situation the offensive unit hates to be in. Long yardage situations.
2 wideouts to the left. Dana Hughes and Whitaker. Hyde looking for help. He'll be sacked back at the 10-yard line by Lorenzo Stiles, number 90, and the crowd is very unhappy as Matt Hyde had all the time in the world and then again unable to find anybody, finally unable to get away.
Well, watch him as he scrambles around. He's going to get pressure as these defensive men rushing in, but he's looking downfield now, but now he's stopped looking. He's not really looking downfield at that point.
And meanwhile, Ohio State blocks the attempted punt by Scott Fisher. Tito Paul came up with the ball.
Tito Paul, number 9, came into this game having blocked 2 punts. His teammates come in there. Again, that was Jason Lewis, number 28, who made the block, and Tito Paul is there for the recovery. Touchdown.
Ohio State leading now 27-7. Williams will attempt yet another extra point. And he is perfect as usual. Ohio State finding another way to score as they lead it now 28-7 with 6:35 to go on the 2nd quarter.
This man has 2 of the fastest feet in the world, but even they can't pump a brake as fast as this Chevy Cavalier's standard anti-lock brake system.
Oh, yeah?
Without ABS, no matter how fast your feet are, this can happen.
Whoa!
But to help you stop and steer on slippery surfaces, Cavalier's anti-lock brakes pump on and off up to 15 times a second.
Yeah, but can they do this?
The safety of ABS. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
So where's the fire offer?
Where's my father? Papa, look what came. My acceptance letter to college.
College is a wonderful thing,
You can have a fine life here. What do you need from college?
Remember how we talked about my going away to college? I know what you're going to say. But at college, they have professors from all over the world. And it'll all help me with my wanting to be a writer.
Hey, kid, what are you going to write about?
For over 150 years, America's universities have given kids from everywhere the chance to pursue their dreams through an education. And what their dreams have given back to us is immeasurable.
So what do you think?
Well, Arthur, I think if that writing thing doesn't work out, you'll make one heck of a salesman.
Big freshman Corey Stringer, number 78 for Ohio State, shaken up on the play and is being attended to on the sidelines. Jason Lewis of the Buckeyes, number 28. That, of course, is not he. First tackling the punter, then blocking a punt in the end zone that turned in to a touchdown. A big day for Jason Lewis, the freshman backup safety.
This being Halloween, a lot of other Jasons in masks.
Watch out for the hockey mask, huh? Yeah. Willie Guy and Harold Jasper are back looking for the kickoff from Tim Williams. He's been hitting so often, hitting the ball so much, he's like Ted Williams today. He has been out there like he's an every play player practically.
The average might be just a tad higher than 400, though.
He's 1,000. He's perfect so far, especially on those extra points. High short kick, Willie Guy from the 9. Nowhere to run except into the arms of Alex Rodriguez, who again makes the stop on the special teams, number 48.
I think we have to try and remember that Ohio State, when they came onto the field, I don't think they knew that the final score was 24-17 Michigan against Purdue. They may have come out in the field thinking that Purdue was ahead in that ball game and that Purdue had beaten Michigan or Michigan would lose prior to meeting Ohio State, then that would have set up a matchup for the Rose Bowl between Ohio State and Michigan.
That's true. They might not have known. Ryan Terry and Lou Montgomery in the backfield. Behind Matt Ide, play action on first down. Over the middle and incomplete, intended for Ryan Terry, but again it's overthrown, and the Iowa fans are not liking it at all. A reminder coming up at halftime here on ABC, the Prudential Halftime Report, featuring John Saunders with scores and highlights of all the action from around the country for you today, so stay with us. John will be there with the Prudential Halftime Report. Matt Ide has completed just 6 of 13 for 52 yards.
A little quick history here. Last year, it was Cross, the tight end, who scored on a 61-yard touchdown play, Alan Cross, similar to the play they've been trying to get to all afternoon. So Ohio State was very well prepared for them to come after them in that fashion.
Play action in the backfield with a scissors play of sorts, and Ryan Terry carrying out to about the 28, tackled by Mark Williams, number 51. Let's go down and get a report from Mark Jones. Mark, you drive.
Just a little bit, Steve. I just spoke with Dr. Bob Murphy of Ohio State. He tells me that Corey Stringer, the starting right tackle, has a sprained left ankle. They're going to take him into the locker room at halftime, reevaluate the situation, and see if he'll be able to go in the second half. Back upstairs to you guys, and stay dry.
Well, we got a little cold and a little wind, but not nearly as much as you've got down there, Phil. Iowa 1 of 5 on third down conversions. It's 3rd and 3. Hyde again has plenty of protection, but it's going to be short as Lampkin will pick up just 1 or 2 out to the 30, short of the first down again. 51, Mark Williams was there to blast him out of bounds.
They needed 3 yards or so on this first down. And as you look at it from Matt Ide's perspective, he's got to get a receiver beyond that first down mark. He has his receiver, Lampkin, crossing the field, but short of it, well in front of the first down markers and underneath the linebacker. Someone needed to slip behind those linebackers and get that ball for the first down.
Well, Scott Fisher is going to try to get it away, and he has pressure again. But he got it away. Walter Taylor. Not much running room, but he gets it out to about the 44 of Ohio State, where the Buckeyes will again enjoy pretty good field position. A 34-yard punt, 5:48 to go in the second quarter, and Ohio State up big. Tomorrow night here on ABC, Halloween continues for one more day with a special holiday edition of America's Funniest Home Videos. Then, at a special earlier time, Julia Roberts and Richard Gere star in the network premiere of Pretty Woman on the ABC Sunday night movie tomorrow night. Ohio State leading 28-7. They have enjoyed good field position. They have enjoyed the ability to do pretty much whatever they want to with the ball. Butler Benote and Raymond Harris in the backfield. Harris carrying. He has been the leading rusher for Ohio State, a 225-pound junior. And he picks up a first down as he gets it into Iowa territory at the Hawkeye 46.
His numbers coming into the game, 340 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's considered to be a stronger inside runner than an outside runner.
Cothran back in at fullback, and he has the ball. Stood up as he crossed the line of scrimmage by Jeff Nelson, number 93 at defensive tackle. And Nelson appears to be shaken up as he took big Jeff Cothran on face to face.
I'll tell you, that would be a big loss for this defensive unit.
We'll take a break while they attend to Jeff Nelson, a senior out of Stillwater, Minnesota, and be back in just a minute.
This man has 2 of the fastest feet in the world, but even they can't pump a brake as fast as this Chevy Cavalier's standard anti-lock brake system.
Oh, yeah?
Without ABS, no matter how fast your feet are, this can happen.
Whoa!
But to help you stop and steer on slippery surfaces, Cavalier's anti-lock brakes pump on and off up to 15 times a second.
Yeah, but can they do this?
The safety of ABS. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
Disgruntled student shot and killed 5 members of the university before taking his own life. And this weekend, the University of Iowa is commemorating the victims. And part of the commemoration includes the groundbreaking and making of a new walkway, as well as the planting of a tree and a plaque. And tomorrow they will distribute thousands of white carnations as part of a tribute to the victims. Back upstairs to you guys.
And certainly the healing process takes quite a while for all those students and family members who were affected by that tragedy, as it was that time last year that Iowa was playing Ohio State in Columbus.
Let's go back and look again at Cothran and Nelson and the collision that led to the injury of Jeff Nelson. Here's Cothran, the ball carrier, coming into the hole.
And here comes 93 Nelson right there as he makes contact, you know, with his head and his shoulders, and he's driven backwards. Now, folks, he's being taken off the field on a stretcher. Now, that does not mean that it is as serious as it appears. But certainly throughout all of college, the medical staff, the training staff, all the coaches take a very conservative approach to any kind of neck or head or back injury. So they want to make sure they get this young man off the field and get some x-rays or even an MRI to make sure that he is okay. Because you can have a slight hairline fracture or sprain or something like that and still feel like you can come back in and play. Just kind of say it's just sore. Get hit again, and that could lead to a much more serious injury.
Absolutely. They take no chances. And when a guy that big, it took him quite a while to get him gingerly moved over to the board and then carried off. So we certainly hope that Jeff Nelson is not as seriously injured as it might appear, and we'll hope to have a report for you before the game is over. Raymond Harris in at tailback on 2nd down for Ohio State. And he has the football. Getting away and inside the 35 down to the 31. John Hartley finally makes the stop. Larry Blue had a chance to get him at the line of scrimmage, and somehow he got away for a gain of 11.
See Raymond Harris carrying the ball, that great, terrific leg strength of his, as you look at the comparison of rushing stats for Ohio State and Iowa.
It's a first down for Ohio State at the Iowa 31 as they just keep driving. Harris again. Nowhere to go this time. Waiting in the hole. 88, Maria Crane, and 48, Matt Hilliard. Maria Crane at 6'3" and 255.
Good quickness for a nose guard. That time he was able to engage and get off his block. Look at number 88 right in the center. You see him make contact with the center. The play's moving to the outside. He slides off the block, then upfield, and gets in on the tackle.
Number 97, Jason Dumont, is in there replacing the injured Jeff Nelson at defensive tackle. Hartley firing. It's tipped, but incomplete. It looked like Tyrone Boudreaux, number 37, got a hand on it, but it fell to the turf beyond the reach of any Hawkeye. And let's get another report from Mark Jones on the sideline. Mark.
All right, Steve, just a few moments ago, I spoke with the medical staff from the University of Iowa. They tell me that Jeff Nelson just jammed his neck, and they have immobilized it. They are taking him in to take x-rays as a precautionary measure, but, and a huge but, he can move all of his extremities, so that indeed is good news. Back upstairs.
Thanks a lot, Mark. That's a great report that he can move his arms and legs.
And his family, I'm sure, is very happy to hear that.
Hartley out of the shotgun over the middle, incomplete, intended for a diving Alan DeGraffenreid. Herb Street now has only thrown 2 incomplete passes. The last 2 passes he's thrown, he'd been perfect up until that time, and there you see Jeff Nelson being taken to the hospital.
Well, I was trying to figure out whether he was throwing to DeGraffenreid or that might have been Greg Beatty, who was running behind him. He threw that hard enough to reach the man running behind him.
Timeout called on the field by Ohio State, stopping the clock with 3:48 remaining. And we'll pause 5 seconds to allow our local ABC stations to identify themselves. Ohio State leading big, 28-7 here in the second quarter. They face, however, a 4th and 9.
They've scored on every possession save one, where Tim Williams missed a field goal attempt.
And with the rain falling and the field being very wet and slick, placements are not easy. But Williams is out there, and he's going to mark the ball at about the 38 on the far hash.
Well, he is 10 for 17 if you count the missed field goal earlier today. And his longest field goal, 50 yards. And this one, let's see where he spots the ball. Now at the 10 yards, that's in the end zone. That's going to be about 48.
Officially, they call it a 47-yard attempt. No good. Had some distance, but he hooked it to the left.
Well, certainly when your defensive unit is playing strong enough to hold Iowa to just 12 yards rushing at this point in the ball game, you have no qualms about letting Williams come in and attempt one from 50 yards away or 47 yards away.
Well, let's go back and take a look at some history of college football. It was back in 1981 that we feature our college football rewind for you this afternoon. So let's rewind it back to 1981. Ohio State and Iowa Big Ten co-champions. Paul Bear Bryant becomes college football's winningest coach, number 315. Dave Winfield making a paltry $1.4 million, the richest player in baseball. And Indiana won the men's NCAA basketball title. Lou Montgomery carrying on first down for Iowa for very short yardage.
When I saw that rewind information, I was just wondering how Winfield could make it on such a low salary, only $1.4 million.
Well, that shows you know, how far we've come in the last 11 years.
I know Bonilla is making over $5, and who's the highest paid player in baseball?
You.
I wish it were me.
Oh, they're up to about $7 million a year.
Sandberg for 10, yeah.
Yes. Moreno's making about $7.5 million. Ide, again, can't find anybody open, even though he had plenty of time. And he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tom Lease, number 81, drags him down for Ohio State. And I think you're right, Swanee. I mean, Ohio State's got to find defense, but they can't have everybody covered on every play, and Ide has almost never been able to find anybody open.
And Iowa looks to be attacking it, as I said, vertically, down the outside and down the middle. I think they're going to have much more success if they can get someone across behind the linebackers who are dropping back about 10, 15 yards and dump it into a big hole that's being created when the receivers are rushing up the field.
Now on 3rd and 9, it looks like they're going to flood the left side. Now they throw to Montgomery on the backfield. He gets away. Lou Montgomery up to about the 38. A penalty flag goes down as Roger Harper, 24. The strong safety made the tackle. It may be a face mask. Derek Foster, number 94, had a chance but missed him. A personal foul, not a face mask signal, against Iowa State will be tacked on to the end of the play.
Dead ball, lead hit, defense, first down.
Well, Iowa, on its only touchdown in the game thus far, was helped greatly by a couple of miscues, a couple of fumbles that they picked up in a 75-yard drive, accounted for 31 yards, 37 yards of that particular drive. Now get a big penalty to give them the first down.
And they are in Ohio State territory at the 47. Ide flipping out again to Montgomery, and right there to drop him immediately is number 90, Lorenzo Styles. Styles, a freshman out of Farrell, Pennsylvania, with another big play.
The defensive unit, the linebackers especially, are dropping back in the zone so quickly they then get set up and they can read what's happening in the backfield. And you see Matt Ide using a little play action. They haven't successfully established a running game, so why even worry about play action?
Exactly.
Because it's not fooling any of the linebackers from Ohio State.
They need to start running the football if they are to have overall success, and certainly run play action passes. But Ide dropping straight back. Again, he has time. Marvin Lampkin out of the backfield for short yardage to the 45 and a gain of 2. Again, Lorenzo Styles, along with number 18, Tim Walton, to make the stop. They have not been able to get the ball upfield either. He's been doing a lot of throwing to the backs.
They haven't been able to get the ball upfield. They haven't been able to isolate their tremendous receiver, Danon Hughes, at all. You see Matt Ide just picking up Lampkin coming across on the short pass play.
3rd down and almost 9 yards to go as we near the end of the first half. Again, good protection. And it's complete to Cross, the tight end. Cross down to the 26. Roger Harris, Harper, the strong safety on the stop.
That is exactly the area of the field I'm talking about in terms of exploiting that too deep as Iowa goes into a hurry-up offense. A big hole was created in the middle by the drop of the secondary, and that's the first time Alan Cross in Iowa has been able to take advantage of it.
Gain of 20. Clock restarts after the chains are set. 30 seconds in the half. Ide again to Alan Cross, who gets out of bounds inside the 20. Tackled by Tim Walton. 26 seconds remaining in the half. And Iowa could get a big scoreboard and psychological boost if they can punch it in here, Swanee.
Alan Cross has picked up the slack in the passing game. When Iowa played Michigan, Danon Hughes was really banged up in that ball game and had only a handful of catches coming in today's game since then. So he picked up the slack. They both came into this game with 34 catches, but it's Alan Cross that's keeping them alive in this drive.
Cross, the senior tight end from San Diego. Play action. Ide in trouble. Gets away again. Almost intercepted. Oh, Brian Cook came across and almost picked it off. And it ran the clock down to 7 seconds remaining. Jason Simmons chasing Matt Ide all over the place.
Look at 87, Alan Cross. Here's a tight end. He is wide open. At this point, there is not a defensive back within 10 yards of him. And look at him. That's why he's not moving, coming back to the quarterback like most receivers should. He just says, come on, find me. Lift your head up. Look at me. I'm here. I'm not a ghost. Now watch eyes. He's scrambling. Watch where his head's looking to see if he can pick him out. He's looking downfield, but he's looking at people right in front of him. He's not looking at the full picture. Now he's just scrambling for his life, hoping he can get out of a bad situation. And it's already bad enough because the clock is just slowly ticking down. He's fortunate at this point that he doesn't throw the interception.
Brian Cook almost picked it off. The pass was intended again for Montgomery, and it appears as if Matt Ide is looking for the backs out of the backfield rather than the deep receivers.
Yes, and it's, I'm not really trying to bring Ide down and say he's not doing a good job. He's doing the very best that he can. But these are the mistakes that happen when you don't have the experience. And the only way you learn and do better is to be in a pressured game, go back, see your mistakes, and then improve the next week.
It is 3rd down and 3. The ball is at the 18 of Ohio State, but just 7 seconds remain on the clock. Ide throwing back and throwing deep. No, out of bounds.
I thought he had 1 foot in.
Harold Jasper thought he had a foot in also. The officials looked at each other before anybody made a call and finally signaled incomplete as time has run out in the first half.
Let's see if we can discern whether or not Jasper had 1 foot in bounds. Here's Ide. He's getting ready to throw the bullet. Well, let's watch Jasper, number 83, right here on the sideline. He looks, oh, his left foot is out of bounds as he makes the catch.
Looked like he had 1 1/2 feet in, but it's ruled incomplete. And at halftime, Ohio State leading 28-7 over Iowa.
ABC's College Football, brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. And by Hitachi. Hitachi makes over 20,000 innovative products. We'll return with halftime activities after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Only Delta gives you more flights from over here to over there.
Continues to fall in Iowa City at halftime. Steve Zabriskie, Lynn Swan, and Mark Jones with you from Kinnick Stadium, and it has been all Ohio State as the Buckeyes lead the Hawkeyes 28-7.
And Ohio State has been doing it on the ground. In this ball game, they have dominated the possession time, 16 minutes, but they have rushed for 173 yards in the first half, of which Robert Smith has carried the ball 13 times for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. For Iowa, the main story has really been indecision in terms of their passing game. You look at the number of plays run also in terms of the halftime stats, 34 plays each, but the field possession has been phenomenal for Ohio State. They've come in, they've blocked the punt for a touchdown. They've blocked or tackled the punter into an excellent field position, and Iowa just has not had anything happen for them on offense.
And I think, too, the real key, Swanee, for them in the second half is going to be, can they get a running game going, take the pressure off Matt Ide a little bit, and control the football a little more consistently. Something they've had a problem with. Well, our halftime report, the Prudential halftime report with John Saunders coming up. Let's go to New York and John right now.
From ABC Sports, the Prudential halftime report. Brought to you by Prudential. When it comes to insurance, real estate, and investments, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the Rock. The Prudential. Rock solid. From New York, John Saunders.
And we welcome those of you watching Ohio State and Iowa, as well as Florida and Georgia. Second half still ahead, but first, time for the Prudential halftime report. We'll start off with the number 2 team in the nation, the Washington Huskies.
And at the end of the first half, he had 13 carries for 92 and 2 touchdowns, and that second one was a result of fine blocking.
Then they got another touchdown at Ohio State as this punt, was blocked by number 28, Jason Lewis.
And then Tito Paul, number 9, who has blocked 2 punts of his own coming into this game, recovers it for the 6 points.
Needless to say, it's been pretty much all Buckeyes. Ohio State dominating in almost every category. Iowa had an opportunity, and it appeared that they scored on the final play of the first half. However, while the receiver who made the reception for Iowa, number 83, Harold Jasper, appeared to be inbounds with at least 1 foot in the end zone, it was ruled that he was not. And so it was ruled to be an incompleted pass, and the half ended with Iowa being turned away on one of the few drives they've had.
And the officials called him out of bounds, and then upon further review of our unofficial replay, he did have a foot out of bounds, and it was a good call.
Todd Romano to kick it off. Back deep, Robert Smith, 26, and Butler Benote, 33 for Iowa State, or Ohio State, I should say. Benote from the 10. Good hole. Finally brought down inside the 45.
And they're saying he stepped out of bounds back at the 39 or so yard line.
They're going to bring it back into Ohio State territory.
Obviously, Butler Benote has great style, but Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey won't ask him to come in and do the high wire act. As he gets to the sideline, a great job of blocking by the unit. But watch here as he just steps out of bounds right there, and they bring it back.
So good field position for Ohio State. 1st and 10 at their own 39. Cochran and Smith in the backfield behind Kirk Herbstreit. Robert Smith breaking through again. Jason Olenczak finally runs him down with help from Tyrone Boudreaux, number 37.
And that is exactly the same play that they opened up with at the beginning of their first possession of the first quarter. The difference is he picks up just over 10 on that play. We had 26 yards before.
And again, the fullback, number 8, Jeff Cochran, doing a good job blocking for him. Smith now is over 100 yards on 14 carries and averaging a healthy nearly 7.5 yards a pop. Robert Smith again picking his way. And if the umpire would have gotten out of his way, he might have had a first down. He's down to the 40 of Iowa for a gain of about 9. Doug Book, the free safety, number 18 on the stop.
Offensive line again doing a terrific job in the middle. Look at Cochran engaging, hitting people. And there's the official, and he is offering no resistance, but he is certainly blocking Robert Smith from moving further downfield.
Jason Winrow, a 300-pound junior offensive tackle down there, and you can see our crew, and not the only one is Mark Jones out there in the elements, but our crew is also braving this heavy rain.
Mike Wells, number 64, the man who makes a stop on Jeff Cochran as he takes it right up the middle.
Wells at 280, a junior from Arnold, Missouri.
Well, the Ohio State Buckeye rushing game is doing so well as you see another one of our cameramen exposed to the elements.
Now, why are the cameras better protected than the cameramen? That's what I want to know. Are they more?
I won't
venture
a guess on that one.
Well, they're both pretty well protected. 3rd down, about 3.5 yards to go. Robert Smith, 1st down. Breaking tackle, staying on his feet and getting down to the 31.
Robert Smith has surprising strength, and you don't really see it when you look at his build. You know, he's a tall, slender back, and I'd say if they lift him at, what, 6'2"? I'd say that if he's 6 feet 2 inches tall, then 5 feet 6 inches is all legs.
Yeah, he's got some long
Look at those long legs. Usually that presents a problem for a running back. You know, we're accustomed to seeing the receivers like a Jerry Rice or Stabline, who is we haven't heard much of today because of the running game going so well, having those long legs.
Matt Hilliard just stuffed Jeff Cochran after Cochran came through and picked up a couple of yards. Hilliard put him right on his back. That's what you call a form tackle.
And Matt Hilliard and 42, John Hartlieb, and Mike Daly, number 38. Tyrone Boudreaux, we've been calling his name quite a bit, number 37. We can expect to see Cochran a bit more because the running backs have been having great success, i.e. Robert Smith. So I think now they figure give it to the fullback a little bit, make sure you don't wear their guys out, test them to see if they're prepared for the short, quick hitting runs.
Second down, about 7. The ball inside the Iowa 30. Herbstreit. Incomplete. No, they're going to say he made the catch.
Chris Sanders.
Carlos James is complaining that the ball hit the turf before Sanders made the catch. I thought it hit the turf, but they're saying he caught it for a gain of 13 down to the 15-yard line.
It's not one of those plays you can easily call, but look at the ball. It gets over. Watch him. He's got his body down underneath. You miss it because number 18, Doug Book, goes over the top, but Chris Sanders was on his back making the catch. That was a fine job.
Sanders, a sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, with an excellent reception, and Robert Smith banging down to about the 11, where he is banged down by Doug Book. A little help from Jason Dumont, number 97.
That catch for Sanders was his third for 39 yards on the day. Take a look at Sanders. He's a track man. Long jump, 26 feet 9 3/4 inches. I mean, he gets down on the ground to make this catch. That's a highlight film.
Yep. That's a big-time reception as he kept his body between the ball and the ground. You can see the rain continuing to pour down. Many of the faithful have left. In fact, the faithful have stayed.
Yeah, the very faithful are still here. The fair weather and I've got a Halloween party to go to that starts early fan has gotten a head start.
We're watching the second half on TV where it's a little drier. Second down, 5. The ball at the 10. Raymond Harris tapped in the backfield for a loss of 5 or 6. Tyrone Boudreaux shot through there and busted up the play, and Larry Blue, number 95, wrapped up Raymond Harris.
Well, Tyrone Boudreaux, number 37, he came charging through as you take a look at Larry Blue, number 95, and I thought he was going to just take the handoff. Watch him right there. He is right in between the quarterback and Raymond Harris. And then Blue just sweeps him up. Take a look right here, 37, Boudreaux. He's playing a terrific game this afternoon.
He is.
And there's Blue, 36 tackles coming into the game.
Robert Smith back in at tailback for Ohio State on 3rd and 10. Hauled down at the line of scrimmage for no gain by Mike Wells, number 64.
And that time, John Hartley, number 42, the outside backer, does the job extremely well of taking on Jeff Cochran, who has been dominating with his blocks, and is able to turn back on the play, and then is assisted by Mike Wells for the stop.
So Tim Williams comes on to attempt a field goal as Iowa stiffens down deep in their own territory. This will be a 33-yard attempt. And it is good. In the rain and on the wet surface, Tim Williams boots another field goal. And with 9:38 to go in the third quarter, it's now Ohio